Hi everybody, it's George here at home with my coffee. I like coffee in the mornings. You guys probably like chai. And I'm just going to go live on Instagram as well. And yeah, today we're talking about, hello everybody. Oh, pause due to poor connection. No. Let's have a good connection, guys. Okay, let's try and change the, how's that? Good morning, Queen of Havian. How are you? Right, is that a better connection? Okay, yes, we are live now on Instagram and on Facebook. Sorry, on YouTube. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. This is day 3 of the lockdown, but about day 8 of my quarantine. How's everybody doing? I just wanted to talk today really about coronavirus pandemic and your mental health, because obviously things are starting to take a toll because we are feeling constrained and feeling that we have no control. And the fact is that we can't get out, or if we do get out, it's only for limited short periods of time, and we're obviously missing our friends and our families and feeling very constrained, as I said. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today and see how you guys are doing. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings in terms of your mental health. How are you getting on? Now, one thing that I've talked about quite a lot in terms of children is the importance of having a routine. And I think that's really important for adults as well. So one thing that I make sure that I do every day is get up at the same time, have breakfast at the same time, do my exercise at the same time. And I think routine is a really key important aspect of this sort of self-imposed self-isolation. So I want you guys to try and keep, if you can, to a routine, because that's really important when it comes to sort of giving structure to your day and making sure, sorry, I'm making myself a coffee as we speak, making sure your mental health is good. Another thing is that one thing that there's a lady called Alia Moinuddin who is an NLP practitioner, and one thing that she taught me was there's something called the circle of influence. Imagine the circle of influence is like that, and then the circle of concern is like that. And the circle of concern is all the things that we are worried and concerned about, whether it be obviously the corona pandemic and pollution and ecological disasters and cancer and things that we have no or little control over. And then and we tend to focus a lot of our time and a lot of our thoughts on the circle of concern. Now, the thing is, there's little we can do about those bigger picture things. What we can do is focus on the circle of influence, which are the smaller circle that we can focus on. So with regard to the coronavirus, we can't cure the coronavirus, but what we can do is educate ourselves, educate others, wash our hands, self-isolate, and that actually helps with your mental health, because by focusing on action, on the things that you can make a difference about, rather than focusing on things you can't do anything about, and that creates a passivity and a feeling of helplessness when you focus on all those big things that you can't control. Instead, just focus on the small circle of influence that you can control, and that gives you a sense of empowerment. And that's, I really think, really important when it comes to mental health at this time in the age of corona. So that's another thing. Obviously, exercise and diet is really important to give, you should do some kind of exercise every day just to de-stress. And that is really important when it comes to that. Obviously, meditation. We've got this time in our hands. There are lots of good meditation apps that you can use. Headspace is one that I use. But there are lots of others on the market, both free and paid. So those are great tools that you can use to make yourself look inside and feel connected to yourself. Have that period of stillness that every day, that whereby and prayer is another obviously opportunity for that as well. So anyway, I'm now going to go to you guys. I've talked enough. How is everyone else doing? So I'm going to first of all to my let's go to Instagram, and everyone's waving. Hi George, hope you and your family are safe. Yes, they are. Thanks, Bagheer. Stay safe, George. Thank you. Hi everyone. Good morning, George. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Hello, bye. Hello from us. Hello, George from Dubai. Assalamu alaikum, George. This is Aga from Malaysia. Hi Aga, how are you? Crunchy or chewy cookies? Oh, that's an important question. I quite like chewy cookies actually, but I, to be honest, I like both crunchy and chewy cookies. Love the educational streets. Keep fighting the good fight against laziness. No, thank you. Netflix is another good opportunity to keep your mind diverted. Yes, obviously Netflix is a good opportunity to keep your mind diverted, but also reading. There's other things than just looking at screens all day. Reading is a great opportunity to keep yourself and your mind diverted. But I think what you need to feel is that we're all in this together. You're not alone. Everyone who's going through this the whole world is going through this. I don't think there's been ever a instance whereby everybody in the world is going through the same thing at the same time. In my lifetime, I have never experienced this. So just remember, you're not alone. Reach out. There are some really good tools to reach out to your friends and family. One is called Zoom. I'm sure everyone has heard of that. To reach out to people. There's also a Party Time, I think, is another app that you can use. And then there's Skype as well. So that's another way of making sure that you feel less disconnected by connecting to your friends and family. But mental health is going to be an issue when we go through this period of lockdown and quarantine. So what I'm saying is routine, exercise, looking at the circle of concern, not looking at the circle of concern, but looking at the circle of influence, what you can do so you feel empowered, so you feel in control and you're not feeling passive and that you're out of control. Look at what you can do rather than focusing on what you can't do. So those are the areas that I would recommend you focus on. And obviously meditation and prayer is another good aspect. And then connecting with your friends and family. Just because you're not seeing them physically, you can still connect with them. And so what is everyone saying? Mentally ill, smokers and other drug addicts are rampant and a big part of the respiratory complications of COVID-19. Karachi, I need to understand that smoking comprises the greatest chunk of this and mental health. Okay. George, this coronavirus hurts badly in Italy and Spain. UK, US also suffered. NHS failed to cope with this issue in the UK. It is a problem. This is the issue at the moment, is that we are trying to ensure that the healthcare system is not inundated. That is why we are staying home. Even if we're not sick, we do not want to be carriers ourselves, unbeknownst to us, carriers that pass on the virus, nor do we want to catch the virus. So this is why we are Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Hi George, hi Janet. Stay safe, I'm staying safe. Thanks for the information. So what are you guys doing? Any advice for students in lockdown abroad away from family? Charlie, well, first thing, I would again, as I said, get a routine. Don't stay in your pajamas all day. Okay, it's very tempting to wake up late and go to bed late. Try and have a structure to your day. That is really important, because the more you plan your day and have it structured, the less it will feel like that you're in some kind of quarantine or prison. It feels like you're in control of your day. So plan your day out with chunks of time for study, chunks of time for exercise, chunks of time for meditation, chunks of time for cooking and cleaning, and chunks of time for relaxation. So I would obviously structure your day like that and make yourself a routine. There's a schedule planner that you can get online, or you can do it the old-fashioned way of writing your own schedule down. But literally have a schedule, like a timetable for students, because it is very tempting just to lie in bed and sleep and watch Netflix or watch TV. And that's not going to be, you're going to feel worse at the end of the day because you won't accomplish anything. So again, it's about action, being in control of yourself and of your action. You can, despite the fact that you're in these four walls, you can still exercise, you can still cook, you can still clean, you can still learn something new. One thing that I'm going to do today, inshallah, is take down my guitar, which I've learned about 3 chords of in the past. But I want to actually learn a song. So I'm going to try and learn a song in the next couple of days on my guitar. So again, all those things that we've put off or we've wanted to do, this is a great opportunity to do them. And I think that's where you need to change your mindset, is to focus on the opportunity that this brings rather than the obviously the downsides to it. So for example, we can learn those languages that we have put off learning. We can take up those hobbies that we've put off doing. I'm going to do some art later in the week as well. And I've got all this art equipment, and I've never had the time to do it. So I'm now going to do it. If you've got a puzzle that you want to do, this is the great time to do the puzzle. One thing that I did yesterday, and again, sorry guys, Instagram, sorry. We live in a small apartment with 4 kids, pool and gym closed now, just a small balcony. I cleaned it up, toiled out, rolled out a mat, put my kids' books, toy stationery out there with snacks and music. That's a great thing to do, Zinat. Well done, well done. Hi, Mariam Mira Dosts from Perth is joining us. Mwah, 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 mwah. Hope you're keeping safe, Mariam. Lots of love to you. Yeah, so again, we're talking about mental health today and how you can keep yourself mentally strong during this period. One thing that I did yesterday, and this sounds really, really strange, but again, because we have this time on our hands now, I was having to clean the toilets. Now, I haven't cleaned toilets since my student days. And at first I was thinking, God, grumpy, I don't want to do this, this is not my job. And then I thought, no, it is my job, this is my house, why shouldn't I clean the toilets? I've just been in a very privileged position not to have to clean my toilets for the last 20 years. But this is a great opportunity to focus on one thing at a time. So I really focused on cleaning the toilets, and actually the time passed really quickly. And I was really, really specific in my cleaning, and I was almost in a Zen-like state because I thought of nothing else. That the children were with Kieran, and I just focused on cleaning the toilets. And it became this sort of labor of love for me as I was, really thorough. And I think that is a really good opportunity to when it comes to just clearing your mind and focusing on one task at a time. And I think because we've lived in this digital age where we have multiple distractions all the time, this is a great opportunity for us to reset, recalibrate ourselves, and just focus on one task at a time, and focus on it with love, with passion, even if it is cleaning the toilets, and dedication. And at the end of it, I was really proud of myself because I'd done a really thorough job. I felt I had. You'll have to ask Kieran if it was a good job. But it meant that I was just in the moment cleaning the toilets. So whatever you're doing, just stay in that moment. And that's a really good other aspect of trying to retain your mental health at this time. Remember, focus on the circle of influence, what you can do, rather than focusing on the circle of concern, all the things that bother you and concern you that you have no control over, because that creates an element of passivity and a feeling of helplessness. Focus on what you can do, your circle of concern. Wash your hands, obviously self-isolate, all the things you can do to keep yourself safe rather than what you can't do. Okay, now let's go back to the comments. What everyone is saying. What are your favorite indoor games? Quantity time pass. Oh, okay. Well, again, this is another thing that I've rediscovered. Card games. Now, Miriam, if she's still on, and I used to have it play Black Queen, which was a great card game that we used to do. But there are lots of good card games for kids. Some of them I shared yesterday on my YouTube and on my Instagram. You can look at those links still. They should be up, and they include Rummy as well as other card games. So we've been playing card games. Ludo, it's a classic game for all the kids, all the family. And then there's another game that we have called Rummy Cup. Good morning from the USA. I really appreciate your efforts that you're making to educate people and spreading positivity. Stay blessed. Majabin, thank you very much. And please be positive. We will get through this. We're in this all together. Zenat has said meditation is so important for staying in the here and now. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why it's called a present. That's lovely, Zena. That's actually true. And that goes back to the point I was making about just being in the present, focusing, whatever you're doing, try and focus on that and do it to the utmost of your ability. Sanya, hi, George. I've got an idea for you. Okay, what is it? Now, what is everyone is saying in Instagram? Please talk about shisha smokers and bung, since respiratory complications are the main killer. Okay, guys, well, obviously we all know that smoking and bung and shisha are not good for you, so try and give that up if you can, because as I say, we know that this COVID-19 affects the lungs and affects the respiratory area in a way that can be obviously life-threatening. So yeah, but we're talking primarily about mental health today, not physical health. I clean my toilets every day, also the house, and wash the dishes and the clothes. Well done, Zenat. That's fantastic. And oh, Mariam has written saying, I'm the Black Queen champion. I will have to disagree with you, Mariam, on that. I recall that I was the Black Queen champion, but perhaps we can agree to disagree on that. But yeah, Black Queen, and again, it can be something you can play over the Zoom or one of these online communication tools. So it doesn't have to be with people in your house. You can play these games online, and there's, as I said, there's a I sent it yesterday. I will send you the link of the Zoom, and then something called Party Time, I think, which is another tool that allows you to communicate with your friends and family online and have these sort of group meetings. And that's another great app that you can communicate with your friends and family with. Okay, what else? Who else is talking? Solitaire is the only card game you should play. Stay 6 feet away from my family members too, please. Yeah, it depends. I mean, I can't stay away from my children because obviously we need to look after them. So, and at the moment we've been self-quarantining. So if you are with family and friends, you can play other games as well. And Mariam, we'd love to open a conversation about people living alone, single parents, and those who are completely socially isolated. Yeah, that's a really good point, Mariam. I mean, obviously there are a lot of people that are out there living alone, single parents. How are you guys coping? Because obviously it must be a challenge for you because you're obviously raising young children as well as being on your own. How are you coping? Let us know and your experiences. We would love to know that. And how are you dealing with being completely socially isolated? Because obviously one thing that we take for granted in normal times is how we rely on our daily interactions, whether it be the guy at the checkout or the woman at the checkout, our daily interactions with him or her, our, going to the shops, going to the hairdressers, those are those daily interactions that we take for granted, especially if we live alone. How are you guys coping? Let us know, let me know, and we can have a discussion on that and how you can stay positive and stay in a healthy, mentally sane space. Right, George, we have a karaoke mic. We connect it to YouTube and sing songs. Well, that's quite fun. Yeah, well done. Have virtual lunches with friends and family. Video call them whilst you eat. Yeah, one thing that I talked about yesterday, that's a great idea. Who's that from? Crazy Packy. Okay, I hope you're not a crazy Packy, but yeah, thanks. That's a great idea. One thing I talked about yesterday was adding an element of silliness to your lives, just to break up the monotony. And for example, have a picnic at home, get a rug or a cloth, a sheet, put it down on the floor and have a picnic on the floor. Have dinner for breakfast and breakfast for dinner, just to mix things up a little bit. I know somebody yesterday who got out her wedding dress and had lunch in her wedding dress yesterday, just to make things a little bit different. So yeah, there are things you can do to add a little silliness to your lives to break up the monotony. Rizvan Tugu 95. It's actually a good opportunity to do some good online courses, perhaps learn a language. I moved to the Netherlands a few months ago and taking online Dutch classes. That's an excellent opportunity. I should really start to improve my Urdu. That's an absolutely great opportunity to learn something new. Keep your little grey cells active. As I said, I'm looking to take out my guitar and try and learn that again. But yeah, take up a new hobby, learn a new language. These are all things you can do whilst we have the time that we've all put off in our busy lives to do now. That's a really great idea, Rizwan. Well, I wish you the best of luck with your Dutch classes. Okay. We've got a table tennis net and rackets. We convert our dinner table into a table tennis table sometimes. That's great fun. That's fantastic. We should think about doing that because I've got a table here. If you guys can see this table here, we could probably try and convert that into a table tennis table. Fantastic. Hi, George. Are you in Pakistan? Yes, I am in Pakistan. Hi, Anushe, Shazad. Nadia. Wash your hands frequently if you wear a mask around family to avoid sneezing or coughing on them. Yeah, I think all these are quite well known now. I hope everyone is doing that. What else is everyone saying? Daniel Hawkins is saying, hello, George, nice to see you again. If I may ask, how did you and your wife first meet? How did you two manage and work past cultural differences? I wish the best to both of you lovely people. Well, that's very kind, thank you. How did we meet? Well, Kira and I met at work, actually. We were working at the same production house, and then I went back to the UK and lived there for 14 months, and Kira and I dated long distance, very similar to how we are doing it these days in terms of, but in those days we didn't have things called webcams or Skype or anything like that. We used to chat by instant messenger. Do you remember that? And superphones. Do you remember superphones? Those are things that Kieran used to call me on from Pakistan because obviously international calls were so expensive. And then calling cards came in and things like that. So I hope everyone's got their cup of coffee or their chai and having this chat with us. This is, I need to wet my mouth after talking for so long. So that's how Kieran and I met. We met at work. And how do we overcome our cultural differences? Well, talking them through them. I mean, it's communication, isn't it? It's how to talk through the things that you are willing to accept and things you are not willing to accept. And there needs to be obviously compromises on both sides. So there are things that I've compromised on in order to accommodate Kieran's cultural sensitivities and things that she's compromised on in order to accommodate my cultural sensibilities. So that's how we did it. Anyway, let's try and get back on topic on issues to do with mental health. George, which food do you like the most in the quarantine time? I'm enjoying making Gora food again because obviously a lot of the food we have normally is desi, and that can be quite complicated. And when you have domestic staff, obviously they can spend that time to doing a lot of the complicated desi dishes, but we don't have time because we're looking after the kids and we're doing the cleaning and the washing and the dishes and everything. So a lot of Gora food, like Western food, is quite simple. You know, pasta dishes and things, pasta, pesto, those kind of things. So I've been enjoying sort of going back to cooking what we used to cook in the UK. So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment because they're fairly simple, 1 or 2, 3 ingredients. Anyway, do you know how to cook? If you do, then show it, please. Also, can you bring Shanira Akram on your video shows? I hope I spelled it right. Yeah, I'll try and have a catch up with Shanira today on Insta Live, perhaps. Yeah, I'll try and get her on live. In terms of do I cook? Yes, I do cook. I cooked a very, even though I said it myself, delicious, and it's very simple dish. It's basically a pasta tuna salad. So get some tin tuna and some mayonnaise, mix it together, put in some cut up apple, some tin of sweet corn, some cucumber cut up, and boil some pasta. Let the pasta cool, and then mix all of that, the cucumber, the apple, the mayonnaise and tuna, and the sweet corn, salt and pepper in with the pasta, and there you have a pasta salad. And you can have that cold for lunch, and if you make a big batch, you can have it for 2 or 3 days. So that's a really simple, easy dish to do. The other thing that we did recently was baked potato, which you can whack in a big aloo, microwave mein, and for like takriban 10 minutes. And then if you want to get it crispy, you can crisp it off in the oven after you've microwaved it, and then just cut it open, have either a bit of mutton in it, or cheese, or baked beans, or again tuna and mayonnaise, and you just put that in, and it's absolutely delicious. And yeah, have a side salad on the side, and it's a really simple, filling lunch. So those are the things that I'm doing at the moment. Good day, mate. Loving your videos. Thanks, Kamran. I just got up 6:30 in the UK at the moment. Fazana, that's great. Well, I'm glad that you're up at 6:30 and then you're not, because it is, again, going back to talking about the mental health aspect of this situation, is easy to like sleep in and lie in like it's a Sunday. And we need to overcome that. We need to try and stick to our routines as much as possible. And that's really important to stay sane and healthy. So I'm glad that you're getting up good and early, Kamran. Fazana, and that you're doing that. So well done. Do you consider yourself more of a Gora or more of a Desi guy now? बहुत मुश्किल सवाल. I don't know. There are aspects of मेरी जिंदगी where I'm बिल्कुल पक्का Desi है अभी. Like the informality, that kind of thing. And there are aspects where I'm still very British, you know? So I think if you cut me open, I bleed red, white, and blue on one side, and I bleed green on the other side. So yeah, I think I'm Ada Gora, Ada Desi, if that makes sense. Yeah, some aspects. So yeah, when it comes to informality, not being so formal, and in Britain they're very sort of traditional and got to do things on time and be very formal. I'm not like that at all. I'm very Desi like that. But at the same time, things like littering and all that, punctuality, I'm very Gora still. I like to turn up on time. I'm not going to turn up at half an hour late to an event. I'm going to turn up at the time that it's told to me. So like that, I'm very British still. I will try and show you. I'll try and do a cooking video, Tarek. I can't now because Kieran's in the kitchen. but I will try it one other time. So I'm sorry, I'm ignoring my Insta followers at the moment. What is everyone saying here? Was your hands frequently, if you can wear a mask around family to avoid sneezing on, coughing on them, yeah, wash your hands frequently and wear a mask, yeah. My name is Zenat, and nicotine does adversely affect mental as well as physical health. Yes, it doesn't. It's not good for mental health either. Yeah, I actually hope during this time you devise a roadmap towards George Cup Pakistan Season 2. Well, if you can let a channel know, I'd be happy to do George Cup Pakistan Season 2. But I need to get a channel involved, and they don't seem to want that kind of content anymore. I learned how to make caramel popcorn in quarantine. I can share the recipe if anyone wants. Pretty easy. Zena, please do. Please share the recipe. Please invite Shanira and do a funny video with her. Okay, well, I will speak with Shanira and see if we can connect on Insta Live. I love music, crisp microwave. Thank you. None of us bleed green. The oxidized blood is redder than blue. Than I was joking, Nadia, when I was talking about the fact that I half bleed green. I know that we all don't bleed green or red, white, or blue. Well, red we bleed, but anyway, it was a little joke. Bile's green. Oh, that's very charming, Nadia. Thank you. I actually hope that during this time you devise it. Okay, I've read that. Okay, right. Cameron, mental health is a good topic to discuss because it's really rarely discussed out loud. Well, I mean, I can talk to you about my own mental health struggles. I have had times in my life when I've gone through severe depression. And I think one thing that we often, one aspect about depression that I've come to realize, it's when you're feeling really often helpless and you're feeling that you do not have any control over your life. And that's why I keep going back to the area of circle of concern versus circle of influence. When you have an element of control of what you can do over your life, that's when you feel empowered and that's when you feel in control. When you focus on this circle of concern, and that's when you feel out of control, and that's when you can feel helpless and fall into depression. And often depression and learned helplessness, I don't know if anyone knows what learned helplessness means. Learned helplessness is when you have got used to feeling helpless and that you can't do anything. They did an experiment on dogs in the 60s. Obviously, this was an experiment before animal rights came along. And basically what would happen is they'd put food on the other side of a divide in the middle of a kennel. And the dogs were able to jump over the divide. But the problem is every time they jumped over, they got electrocuted. And so they would jump back and they wouldn't read the food. Anyway, after a week, they stopped electrocuting the divide. But the dog, and despite the fact that the dogs could still jump over the divide and reach the food, they didn't because they had learned not to do it. And that's called learned helplessness, even though they were capable of jumping high enough to reach the food. And I think that's something that we tend to have done in our lives, is we've learned not to be able to do something, even though we can do it. And that creates a sense of helplessness and victimhood in ourselves. And that's when we are prone to falling into states of depression, because depression is when you're often feeling absolutely that you can't do anything. There is no future. There's nothing that you can do to improve the situation. And action is great. It's a great medicine against depression. So if you can try and do some kind of action to control, to give yourself a sense of control over your life, over your surroundings, that is really important. Anyway, let's go back to the comments. George, any tips on how to spend good time during the lockdown home isolation? Yeah, as I said, look at all the stuff I've shared on my Instagram and Facebook and YouTube accounts. I've talked a lot about routine, really important to have that. There are a lot of educational tools that I've shared with you. I'm going to share some more today. And there are a lot of tools that I've shared with you, resources in terms of activities one can do with your children if you have them. Any tips on preventing cognitive dissonance when trying to do something or complete another? That's a really good question. Let me think about that. I'm not going to come up with something off the top of my head that may be inaccurate. So let me think about that, Daniel. I've always had these great short film ideas that just end up being incomplete, but I feel an extreme mental block when to try and put it on paper. Okay, Daniel, one thing again, I think there is, again, one thing that I've learned is that, again, when you think of something big, like you want to make a film, it seems overawing, that, okay, I want to make a film. How do I even go about doing that? And what I would say to you is break down every segment into little chunks. So let's say first thing you need to do is write a script, okay? So you need to then brainstorm a script idea. Then you literally write down the steps, all the things you need to do into as minute detail as possible. And then just focus on that one step. So one step you do in one day. And then the next step you do in the next day. So try and break down, because when you think, oh, I need to make a film, it seems like such a big task or such a big issue you can't even begin to start. So try and create a roadmap to that and break down things into little, smaller and smaller tasks. And that might make it a more manageable prospect for you. And more digestible. So just do one little task every day. So that's what my recommendation on that. Hi, George, I have a suggestion. You can connect Shanira on live chat and play quiz games. It will be fun. Okay, I will try that with Shanira. Perhaps we'll try that tonight. Can you read books and give your analysis? Karen Armstrong's A Prophet of Our Time could be a great idea. I'd love to hear your analysis on that book. Yeah, I've read that. I haven't read it in a while. I think I've read that. I've read a couple of Karen Armstrongs. Let me see if I've read that one. Go back onto my bookshelf and see if that's the one I've read. With regard to mental health, I think painting in general, writing and washing dishes is always very cathartic stress reliever, particularly in these tough times. Your thoughts? Yeah, it's really interesting. Those things like painting or drawing or even washing the dishes allows you just to take time out, and all you're doing is focusing on that painting or focusing on what I was talking about earlier about cleaning the toilets. All I did was focus on doing the best job of cleaning the toilets, and that just really, it took me out of time. I was there in the present cleaning those toilets. I wasn't thinking about Corona. I wasn't thinking about the past. I wasn't thinking about the future. I was there cleaning the bloody toilets. And I was about to say a rude word, but I don't know who's watching. So yeah, so that was it. And painting as well and washing the dishes are all very cathartic like that. So I really recommend those. When you're doing your housework, do it with that kind of intensity and focus. And that really is good for your mental health as well. Assalamu alaikum, George. Bye. Assalamu alaikum, Kazi. Epstein didn't kill himself. Okay, thank you for that. Good morning, George. What actually motivated you to come back to Pakistan? Well, it was a combination of things. Basically, my wife's family all live in the US or Singapore, and we were the last of her siblings to leave when we went back to the UK in 2011. And unfortunately, my wife's my SARS, passed away in 2015. And my father-in-law had ALS, motor neuron disease. And so he was very sick, and she had been the primary carer for him. And he needed 24-hour care and nurses and things. So that's what prompted us to return back. We were looking to come back anyway because we were missing Pakistan. So yeah, that's what, family, it's the most important thing. And that's what we needed. We needed to be here to support and look after my father-in-law. So that's what brought us back. And we've been here since then, since end of 2015, beginning of 2016. Please remake the show George Cut Pakistan. I think we need to do something different. What can we do? Give me an idea of what we can do to do something different for George Cut Pakistan. What I'd love to do is, this is an idea I have. I don't know how plausible it would be in the current climate, but let's say after the corona pandemic improves, I'd like to get a Pakistani and take him and travel around India and talk to Indians from both the extreme right to, nice, normal Indians, and then take an Indian and bring him to Pakistan and to meet again the extremes on both sides, and try and have a discussion on the fact that we are, despite the fact that we have this divide between us, we are obviously have more in common that unites us than divides us. And I wanted to do a travel show with an Indian and a Pakistani, and travel to India and Pakistan, meet with various people. That's an idea, but I don't know if there's any channel will fund that. But if you know of anybody who might want to do that, let me know. Yeah, so Daniel, look up Gantt charts. A Gantt chart, those really help you over a week or weeks create a workflow for you for those tasks. And it could be literally as simple as, thinking up an idea for your film. That's day one, just an idea. And then day two is like brainstorming the idea for your film. So yeah. Here, that travel show would be a great thing. Well, let's see if the authorities will let us travel around India and Pakistan. I don't know if they would in this current climate. Well, it's not now, obviously we shouldn't be traveling anywhere, but after we, the coronavirus lockdown, I don't know if they'll still allow us to do it. Hi, George, we should keep the human level up. It's kind of boost the morale. Okay, well, in that case, Kashif, tell me your best joke, okay? George, you can do a travel show. North is beautiful, especially Hunza. I went to Hunza last year. It is absolutely beautiful. And Hunza is surprising. It's so clean. There's hardly any litter there compared to the rest of Pakistan. And the litter that is there is usually brought by tourists. They have great literacy there. They're like 95% literate. All the women work. And it's a very progressive part of Pakistan, thanks to the Aga Khan. It's a lovely place. I love it. Yeah. Okay. Hello there from Chicago. Oh boy, Hussein. Hi, how are you? Asad Hani, how's the tea? I'm actually having coffee. Can I let you into a little secret? I have coffee in the mornings and I have tea in the afternoons. I don't have tea in the mornings. I'm a coffee drinker, I'm afraid, and I'm a coffee snob as well. I don't have like Nescafe or anything. I have to have proper filtered coffee. I'm a bit of a. That's the one thing I'm snobbish about. I can't stand cheap coffee. Okay, a lot has changed in Pakistan since then. Yes, it has. Rizwan, just a suggestion: if GOAY don't offer you anything for George Cut Pakistan, why didn't you approach them? I have approached them. But the television, the media industry at the moment is going through a very tough time financially, economically, and again, they're very resistant to anything novel or new. That's why you get the same shows, the same dramas, the same bichari women crying, because that's what sells. And advertisers rule the what is produced in this country rather than creatives. The sad thing is, creatives in the early days when we were doing George Ka Pakistan, or there were shows like Four Man Show or Beggar Nawaz Show, all those things in the early mid 90s. I did a show called News, Views and Confused. Those kind of things, we were in control. The creatives were in control. And unfortunately, nowadays, advertisers are in control, and that's why all the creative content is being done online rather than on television, because that's where, you know, the kids and young people and even middle-aged people like myself can actually be more innovative than we can be on television, because they're very resistant to anything that isn't an established format or an established show. Yeah, obviously, but I think Rizwan says it's purely my personal opinion. I think the current wave of communal intolerance in India makes the idea very difficult, especially after the illegal annexation of Kashmir. Yeah, I mean, obviously it is. That's why I'm saying it would be a very difficult, but it'd be difficult for whether we would get the permission to travel in India rather than anything else. But at the same time, I think it's why we need to have a dialogue and a conversation between these two countries, because both sides, let's not just blame India. Obviously, India under the present Modi regime is extremely reactionary and has been belligerent and provocative towards Pakistan with the attacks last year, as well as obviously the annexation of and treatment of the Kashmiris. But at the same time, Pakistan in the past has not been entirely innocent and has been provocative and has used non-state actors to attack India in Mumbai. The Mumbai attacks were probably financed in part by the intelligence services in India, in Pakistan, and that killed a lot of innocent people. So both sides are to blame, but also that, but it is at that level, at government level. Ordinary Pakistanis, ordinary Indians have more in common that unites them than disunites them, and we need to retain and continue to have a dialogue between these our people, because we were one people at one time. And the reality is that, again, what does Corona tell us? That actually, you know, you could be Hindu, you could be Muslim, you could be a Jew, you could be a Christian, you could be an atheist. It doesn't matter. It'll attack you, whoever you are. Whatever your ethnicity is, whatever your language, color, or creed is. It is and we are all humans at the end of the day, and we need to share that common humanity that holds us together. And we're all in this fight against this pandemic together, okay? It doesn't subscribe to any religion, any ethnicity. It kills us, whoever we are. And that should unite us as a common brotherhood of man. And I think that's what we need to get across in the future content that we do on television, is to unite us and to bring people together and to try and let those people that focus on hate, on communal hatred, whether it be with the RSS in India or, you know, the BJP, or, you know, the religious right in this country, we need to try and make those people go to the margins and focus on the common humanity in the middle that unites us, okay? And that's what I'd like to do with any future programming content. News, Views and Confused needs to be right. It was one of the most intelligent, underrated, and creative Pakistani shows of all time. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. In fact, if Mariam is still on, she used to also help produce and write that. She took over from me, producing and writing the show. It was a lot of fun to do. Okay. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but prior to talking to you, I was watching this excellent 2-part Vice doc on the dark side of the ring, talking about the Benoit murders. Definitely worth watching. Okay, I'll have a look at that. George, do you miss anything from the UK? Kamran, of course I do. I miss lots from the UK. I miss my friends. I miss my family. I miss my Marmite. I miss my pubs. Yeah, there are lots of things I miss from the UK, but and theatre. Yeah, I loved going to the theatre in the UK. The art galleries. Yeah, there's lots of things I miss. But the fresh air, the greenery. But there are things I also, when I'm there, I miss about Pakistan. So, as long as I get there once a year or so, it's fine. Okay, how are you, George, dear? I'm very well, thanks. Oops, I'm just trying to go down. Why is this not letting me go down? Okay. What's happening? Oh, okay. Zishan, I was a lazy person, and current situation has made me more lazy, and every passing day increases my mental stress. Any suggestion how to keep myself motivated? I'm a PH student in Adelaide. Okay, Zishan, I don't know, you might have just joined, but I was talking at the start of this blog about the importance of having a schedule, okay? Having a routine and making sure you keep to that routine and rewarding yourself when you keep to that routine. So let's say you say, okay, I'm gonna wake up at 7 o'clock and I'm gonna have my breakfast, have a shower, and I'm gonna start work and I'm gonna do 2 hours of work, and then I'm gonna reward myself after those 2 hours of work. I'm gonna have half an hour of doing whatever you wanna do, whether it be watching Netflix, iPad, whatever. And then reward yourself, give yourself little rewards to motivate yourself throughout the day, okay? And try and incentivize yourself like that. But what I would say is the worst thing you can do is try and just lie in bed and stay in your pajamas. Get up, get out of bed, make your bed. The first thing you should do is make your bed, because that'll give you a sense that you've achieved one thing. Even if it's just making a bed, you'll feel a sense of achievement in doing that. So try and do that. What exactly you like doing in free time? Well, at the moment, actually, surprisingly, I don't get much free time, because with the children, obviously Kieran is working as well, so we take it in turns to look after them, and that requires me making sure my son is homeschooled and my 2-year-old daughter is entertained. So there's not a lot of time during the day, and then by the evening we're pretty exhausted. So I go for a walk, and obviously making sure that I'm 6 feet away from anyone else in the streets below, and then I go and read a book or watch a little bit of Netflix. So that's what keeps me occupied. But by the time you've done all the dishes and the cooking and the cleaning, there isn't a lot of spare time at the moment. George, if you could do a comedy show Pakistan with Jeremy McClellan. I don't know. I don't know if I have that comedic. I mean, I like to be funny and silly, but I'm not a comedian, I don't think. So I don't know if that'd be any good as a comedy show, but think about it here. Thanks. Well, stay home, stay safe, love for you all, and hatred for none. Salam from Germany. Salam, Ansar. Kamran, not the weather. No, I don't miss the weather in the UK. God, it was miserable at times. You know, when you get those weeks when it was unrelenting greyness for hours and hours on end. You know. Hello, George. Please say hello to my family back in the States. Hope you stay safe. Zainab. Okay, Zainab, I'll say hello to your family. I don't know what's going on. I think they're doing some building work downstairs. I don't know why. When did you get this information information about Pakistan's state involvement in Mumbai other than the Indian media? No, Tariq, it's actually fairly well established if you do some research on the Mumbai attacks. It's not just Indian thoughts. It's been, I think, pretty independently verified that Pakistan was involved alongside non-state actors in the Mumbai attacks. Okay, what have we got there? I have visited the Pakistan side of Kashmir. Yes, Rizwan, I've visited Azad Kashmir. Yeah, that was good. Pakistan's Aboriginal, that's why some parts of Pakistan like KPK and Hunza look European. I don't know what is the true history of Indo-Pak. Some historians thought we were integrated with northern Pakistan, so that's why a lot of Pashtos have blue and green eyes. So they're the sort of descendants of Alexander, I think. I'm thinking of reading parts of A Little Princess out loud and recording a podcast. I hate London weather. Sometimes someone is vacuuming. Isn't there a lockdown? You should report the construction workers. Yes, I should. Yeah. Okay. George, I love Alif. Congratulations on being part of such an awesome production. We need more dramas like Aleph to keep reminding ourselves to stay in touch with our spiritual side. I agree. I enjoyed being a part of it. It's purely my personal opinion. I think the current wave of communal intolerance in India makes your idea very difficult. Yeah, we discussed that. Okay, guys. Right. George Bhai, apni sehat kya khayal rakhna? Okay, I think you need to learn BJP, RSS, the ruling party, the majority of India's party resolutions regarding Pakistan Muslims, just in the name of balancing will not help understand the grave danger. Yeah, I mean, I'm aware of what's going on there as well. Thanks, George. Yeah, I'm spending half my day in bed. I'll try to make sure you're on board things. Thanks again. Zishan, please don't spend half your day in bed. Again, try and, in order for your mental health, it is important you have the strength inside of you to be in control of yourself, okay? Don't let yourself be overcome with passiveness and a sense of learned helplessness. You can do what you want to do with the power inside yourself. It needs to come from action, from you doing what you need to do in order to bring about the changes you need to bring into your life. So you can go out and study, you can go out and exercise, you can go out and eat right, and you can reward yourself for doing all of those things at the end of the day. You need to get out of bed and you need to, in the words of Nike, just do it, okay? Just do it. Get out of bed, okay? And make your bed. And then reward yourself with a cup of tea for doing that. And then once you've had your cup of tea, go and do an hour of study. And then after that, reward yourself with playing, 15 minutes of Pokemon or whatever you're into. Do that. So, but get out and do something. Okay, guys. Right, I'm going to say goodbye from now. If you had to describe your relationship with Pakistan in one word, what would it be? Mohabbat. Pyar. A lot of Pakistanis are blue-green eyes. Pakistanis, Middle Eastern, European, Mediterranean, and we are very ethnically mixed. Greek Empire, British Empire, etc. influenced the Pakistan gene pool greatly. Yes, you're absolutely right. How are you going, George? I hope everything's going well. Yep, things are going well. Right, I think it's been almost an hour, so I'm going to say Kuda Hafiz, everybody. It's been lovely chatting with you, and look after yourselves. Stay mentally strong. Remember routine. Focus on the circle of influence rather than the circle of concern. Try and keep yourself and reward yourself for every job that you get done. And when you're doing those jobs, focus just on that job, whether it's cleaning the toilets, washing the dishes, focus intently on that and block out all the chatter about your worries and your concerns, okay? That'll keep you mentally strong. And then obviously exercise is really important this time. Just try and, even if you're not very fit, try and do 10 minutes a day. Get your heart moving and pumping. That'll make you feel better. And then finally, obviously try and do some kind of meditation. Okay, bye-bye, Kila Hafiz. Lots of love. See ya. Till tomorrow. Bye.